Sebastian's stare iced over. He turned toward the intruder. Lucian didn't flinch. They stood eye to eye, a silent duel that drew a small crowd. I'm only speaking as an observer, Sebastian, plain facts. Seizing the instant his grip slackened, Arya freed her arm. We're wrong for each other. This split wasn't impulsive, it was deliberate. Let's not humiliate ourselves. She left the gawkers behind and resumed her original timetable. Thanks to her habit of leaving early, she wouldn't be late to the tutoring job. Yet once in the car she found herself studying the driver, replaying the scene. In all the months of teaching Ivy she had seen little of Lucian's combative side. His composure rarely cracked. The surprise echoed their second meeting. It had been Sebastian's birthday. On her way to the banquet hall she spotted a familiar figure and told the driver to pause. She lowered the window and called out, Lucian. The tall teen in a black hoodie turned, leaning toward the window. The drawstrings of his hood swayed. Arya smiled. Fancy seeing you. Want to share the ride? He hesitated, fingers tightening on his backpack strap. Sure. Thanks. He took the back seat, set the black bag beside him, and the car rolled on. After several blocks he suddenly gripped the passenger headrest, leaned forward, and asked with a faint grin, by the way, where exactly are we going? She met his focused gaze, puzzled. It's Sebastian's birthday, didn't he tell you? I assumed you were headed to the party. Lucian lowered his head, window light sliced his profile into light and shadow. He did, I wasn't planning to come. He and I aren't close. Rumor had it the heirs got along because they'd grown up in the same circles. The reality surprised her. I'm sorry. He said everyone would be there, so I thought, let me take you wherever you need to go. It's fine. Might as well try getting along. Soon she discovered just how poor their rapport really was. Late in the evening the banquet grew raucous. Needing air, she wandered to the rooftop observation deck. With the building entirely booked, she strolled the corridors. Rounding the top floor corner she overheard an argument. She's a joke. Sebastian's just helping people and his girlfriend throws a fit. Does someone have to die before she backs off? All for her tiny self-interest. A male voice crackled with anger. She recognized one of the guests. Then Lucian's icy tone rang out. Owes me 300 grand. Pay it for him. What? Owes money? Why should I cover it? Exactly, whoever's in debt should pay. When Sebastian helps, the helped ought to be grateful. But when he breaks a promise, people have the right to be mad. Simple logic. If some murderer you once rescued slaughtered your family, would you forgive him because of past kindness? The angry voice dropped. What are you getting at? Lucian's words were a frozen lake, blunt and flat. That you're laughably two-faced, especially next to her sincerity. And without mercy he added the final 3 words, utterly hypocritical. Remembering all this, Arya studied the man beside her. Frankly, she had never expected Lucian to defend her. On their first meeting he had been the only cold presence amid friendly faces. The car eased to a stop. She came back to the present and looked outside. They had arrived, thanks. But as she pushed the door open a playful voice rang out. Well, if it isn't you? She turned. A young man lounged against a bright red Ferrari. Floral shirt glaring like a peacock's tail, eyes fixed on her face. Do we know each other? She asked, baffled. He ruffled his hair. I've heard about you, Lucian cut in. Ignore him, Ivy's waiting. Arya lowered her gaze, assuming the stranger meant the gossip about Sebastian. Just then Ivy appeared, spotted her, and ran over to hook their arms together. Heads bent in chatter, the 2 girls disappeared inside. After watching them leave, Lucian pulled the car door shut and slid back behind the wheel. He was about to drive to the garage when his friend hopped into the passenger seat. With a meaningful smirk. How did you get tangled up with her again? She scammed you out of a lot of cash last time. Lucian's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. It wasn't on purpose. Right, blocking and deleting you wasn't on purpose either. Lucian's brows drew together. He looked at his friend, then calmly reached over and shoved him back out of the car. Inside the house, Arya studied the portrait Ivy had given her, fingers brushing the canvas. She thanked the girl and tucked the drawing away with care, then started the usual tutoring session. During the break, Ivy handed over a tablet. She'd become obsessed with a draw and guess game and begged Arya to team up. Arya accepted and began logging in. While she typed, Ivy tilted her head. Is this your old QQ handle, sis? Yeah. Why? Ivy's eyes went wide. My brother kept writing those exact numbers. Across the room, Lucian's gaze turned razor sharp. What were the odds? Arya's handle had no relatives on the friend list, only strangers she'd met online. She didn't recall adding anyone like Lucian, though maybe the buyer's kid had. I sold that account once, whoever he remembers must be the buyer. Lucian stiffened, his brows knitting. You sold it, when? Right after my college entrance exams. That summer she'd waitressed. The owner's son, repeating his senior year, had noticed her sequential number handle and called it sick. He offered $5,000. His parents, thrilled he'd finally scored high enough for a decent university, didn't object. Arya's mother had just been diagnosed with spinal stenosis and needed surgery. 5 grand was more than she could earn slinging plates all summer, so she'd agreed. She posted one last update account for sale. No longer mine, removed her ID and phone, and handed it over. Later she learned the sale violated the platform's toes. After insurance covered most of the surgery, she tracked the boy down and returned the money, wanting the handle back. At first he refused, but his family, sudden lottery winners who'd since gambled themselves into debt, needed cash badly enough to relent. Arya glanced up, surprised by Lucian's rigid expression. "What's wrong?" "Nothing." He rose slowly, tall shoulders square, face unreadable. "Just feeling stupid. Sorry I misjudged you." Replaying the conversation, she asked carefully, "So someone deceived you?" "Yes, I thought it was you." "Thank God I didn't do anything worse." He changed the subject at once. "Are you going home for break? We're skiing near your hometown for Ivy's birthday." He ruffled the child's hair beside her. "Really?" She'd assumed she wouldn't see them till term resumed. Ivy bobbed her head, beaming. As a local whose hometown doubled as a tourist magnet, Arya rattled off the best slopes and side trip spots for days. One golden afternoon, Ivy finally tired out and left with her bodyguard for the hotel, so Arya and Lucian hunted for gifts. Ivy's taste was quirky, only amusing. Offbeat items held her interest, and a certain curio shop fit the bill. The low-key owner, wealthy enough to keep the place open for over a decade, was renovating because business had exploded. While the clerk wrapped their purchase, Arya noticed Lucian pausing at every ski photo on the wall. "You love skiing, no?" He shook his head, voice low and gentle. "But someone once blazed down these slopes, bright enough to outshine the snow, I see." Lucian smiled sideways. She'd clearly forgotten. Years earlier, bored by his packed schedule of classes, training, and internships, he'd followed friends to this resort. He tried skiing, wobbled, and drew a crowd of locals who jeered, "Yo, moron, you crippled or what? Mom and dad cousins or something, learn to move." Lucian froze, eyes icing over, but before he could reply, a clear female voice cut the wind. "Picking on newbies again? Forgot you face-planted every 3 turns when you started?" The black-jacketed boys flushed. "Arya, that was years ago. Race us now if you're so tough. Let's go." In scarlet gear, she looked like a flame against the snow. "Lose and you 3 jerks apologize. Jerk yourself, we'll see who eats powder." They moved to the next run, but it wasn't even a contest. She shot ahead like a swallow, leaving them wallowing in her wake. When they finally staggered back, she was waiting. She leaned in and echoed their earlier taunt. "Get moving, idiots, apologize." They muttered. She sharpened her tone. "A bet's a bet. Spit it out." "Sorry, okay, happy?" Still unsatisfied, she spotted Lucian, glided over, and pushed up her goggles. Sun-on snow warmth filled her smile. "You're not from here, sorry about those jerks. Hope you enjoy the rest of your trip." "Thanks, I'm Lucian, anytime." She turned to leave. "Wait." He stepped forward, brain racing ahead. He lifted his own goggles. "Hi, I'm Lucian, Lucian Vale. Nice to meet you." She blinked, then grinned. "I'm Arya, like the Sterling. Nice to meet you too. Mind if I add you? You carve like a pro, maybe I can ask for pointers." "Sure. My old QQ handle's super easy." She rattled off the digits, then laughed self-consciously. "I'm cramming for college soon, though parents want me at university, so I might be slow to reply." She waved a mitten goodbye and swooshed away. "Have fun." An ordinary encounter, yet the sun had etched her silhouette so deeply that he never forgot her. Not until their paths crossed again at Eastbrook years later. Arya nudged him. The shopkeeper had called 3 times while he stood lost in memory. Lucian, a soft call jerked him back to the moment. And there she was, his North Star, smiling right at him like the first time they met. He blinked, tenderness slipping into his eyes unguarded. "Sorry." Only then did he notice the gift was already wrapped. He picked it up and turned to go downstairs. Arya suddenly grabbed the person beside her.